Hey guys, welcome back to Gonk Gang Martin here. Today I wanted to bring you the set 6 version of Piett Red with the Droids, which is a deck that I've been running for a while now, since sort of the start of set 4 almost, when I realised that, this sort of version is a little bit better than the normal Piett Red at the time, which was less droids, more control-y. Before we get on to the set 6 version though, I want to talk about the final version of the set 5 deck. If you watched the video at the start of set 5 when I sort of showed off the new cards that set 5 gave us that could make this deck work a bit better, there was about 3 cards in particular that I mentioned, those being HK, DRK and Invasion Control Ship. Unfortunately, Invasion Control Ship I don't think is worth it. I've tested it so much and I think like 9 times out of 10 it doesn't do anything. Like, it just feels like you're paying, well, I guess 5 if Piett's deployed, or 6 if he's not, for what is essentially a 5/9 in space that has the capital ship tag, so you can planetary with it, I guess. Which has its own merits, and if that's something that you're interested in, maybe it is a difficult ship to kill, although it does get killed by Fell the Dragon. Obviously a lot of removal kills it, and the effect might come off in a game, maybe. But I actually found that I much preferred having 2 copies of Dornian Gunship, which was something I decided on a bit later, or at the start of set 5, once it was actually out and the meta started to be defined a little bit. I think I preferred having the cheaper units because at the time force throw was everywhere, right? So having a 5 cost ship was quite nice because they force throw me, I can discard that and it doesn't kill my raided Invisible Hand or Devastator. So that's quite nice. The other 2 cards are as good as I originally thought, those being HK, which is probably the best droid in the deck, and DRK, which situationally is the best droids card in the deck because, sometimes I have played this out to drop an enemy General's Blade, or Jedi Lightsaber, Fallen Lightsaber, whatever, Constructed Lightsaber now as well. So that is quite strong itself. And the other card that I didn't really put in the deck originally in set 5 was Craving Power. I know a lot of people were talking about this card when it was released for this deck or any green villainy deck. But in my opinion, because this deck runs Turbo Laser Salvo so well and no other green villainy deck really does, I felt like you didn't need another card that requires a unit on board to remove something. After playing around with it, I guess I was wrong a little bit. Like, the fact that it's an upgrade and it stays a few turns is actually quite important. I will say though, I don't think it's as good as Turbo Laser Salvo or Overwhelming Barrage. I know a lot of people think it's better than Turbo Laser Salvo at least, but the amount of times I've got so many kills with the Turbo Laser Salvo, it's like, I just think Craving Power is not as good, just due to the fact that it can only target 1 unit. But in a way, I like to think of this as like a more powerful open fire. So this was the version of the deck that I ran at Element Games. We did a video on that, so if you want to know how I performed, I got 9th, and then sort of my matchups, you can go watch that. But that's how it was here. I might make some changes for the end of set 5. We are going to the Munich tournament, and I probably will be bringing this, so I'll probably make some modifications on it, maybe, depending on what people are running. I see hand 2 everywhere and stuff like that, so we'll have to see. But talking about set 6 version, which is what you came here for, so here it is, the set 6 version, and just like last set, there's pretty much 3 new cards that are really good in this deck, and honestly I think they're much better than the additions from last set, which is pretty cool because HK and stuff was a good addition. And so the first best card, and probably the most important card added, is the Gonk Droid, which is, obviously coincidental because we're the Gonk Gang and the Gonk Droid is our mascot, but this card is actually insane in this deck because it allows you to do something you couldn't do before, which was play a 5-drop capital ship on turn 2, which is really hard for most decks to answer. Essentially, Gonk Droid is on attack, the next unit you play costs 1 less. Because it's worded that way, it means it's sort of a lingering effect, so you can use the non-flipped Piett ability to play a capital ship out for basically 2 less. So there's a good chance if they don't answer the Gonk Droid, you can turn 1 Gonk, turn 2 MC30, turn 3 Invisible Hand, turn 4 Devastator, which is a turn faster than you've ever been able to play this deck, which this deck was already too fast for a lot of people to deal with, so now you have even more choices, and yeah, I don't know how people are going to deal with this. Of course, the simple answer is if they have initiative, because I think this card requires initiative most of the time, they can just kill the Gonk Droid on the next turn. It's not too hard. It is 3 health, so a lot of these 2/4s that are running around can't do it, which is nice. But it's not exactly tanky. It's not a 4 health unit, it's not a 5, it's just a 1/3. And of course, there's always the risk of playing against a blue villainy deck that they just kill the Gonk Droid and then power the Dark Side or MC30, even if you had initiative, which is definitely something to watch out for, so it's something you should probably know your matchup for. Worth noting though that it is non-unique, and it is a droid that costs 2, of course, so you can pull it out of Invisible Hand, and you don't have to worry about killing any other copies. And if you somehow manage to get all 3 to attack at the same time and Piett is deployed, that's 5 less for a capital ship. You can play the 10 cost Devastator on 5 resources. It's never really going to happen, because I don't know how you'd be getting all 3 Gonk Droids on board by 5 resources. And even if you did, you're probably way behind on board. So, I mean, it's a funny idea. One thing I would like to say though, I think this card, and the cards we'll talk about soon, might push this deck up a little bit better. At the moment it's sort of been an A tier deck, I guess, that you might run into like 1 guy playing it in a tournament, maybe 2 guys at a tournament. I think with these new additions, unless there's like a new big meta deck that is like really good into this, I think there's a good chance that Piett is bumped up to one of the better decks in the game, and that might seem like a great thing, although it can also be an issue because this deck does like the sort of surprise factor a lot of the time when you're going up against people, and if it becomes more common that might be bad, but hey. Just a quick aside though, I just want to say that it's really cool seeing a lot of people play this deck ever since, well, I guess ever since set 4 when I did well with this at Games Expo. It felt like a lot of Piett Reds before that point weren't really running the droid package. I know the droids were a lot worse back then, so obviously I'm not saying I'm the first one to come up with the idea of putting the droid package in a Piett deck. I mean, Invisible Hand's one of the best ships out there, so of course people were doing it before. But it wasn't very widespread, it seemed pretty rare, and then after Games Expo suddenly even went to PQs myself and I would run into a lot of people running this deck exactly, and it was so cool to see. So if you're one of those people, that's really cool. I'd love to see what your versions of the deck are, and like maybe what you're looking forward to putting in from set 6 and beyond. I don't know, maybe I'm tooting my own horn a little bit too much, but I don't know, I like to think that I made a little bit of an impact there, a little bit on the meta. That's pretty cool. A lot of people don't know about our channel since we're pretty small, but I don't know, it's cool to think that even if they don't know where it came from, that there was some impact made here with this deck. That's enough talking about the Gonk Droid though. We'll quickly talk about the other 2. The other one is Imperial Dark Trooper. There's literally nothing to say about this. It's a 3/3 2-cost droid. This is Battlefield Marine, but it is in villainy, and you can get it off Invisible Hand for free. I mean, what more can you say? I liked Viper Probe Droid as a 3/2. Its effect was okay, but the 2 health always kind of sucked because it died to a lot of things. This guy doesn't. Once again, this guy doesn't die to 2/4s on turn 1. So this guy's really good. Not good enough for a 3-of, I don't think, but he's pretty good. Now the other probably biggest card for this, besides the Gonk Droid, is the Fulminatrix. We finally have an 8-drop capital ship that can rival Devastator, that if you don't draw Devastator and you draw this instead, it still feels like you can win the game. Previously, the only other option was Architans, which I loved. Architans, that's one of my favourite cards in the game. If you don't know what it is, it's a 7/8 ambush, 8-cost capital ship. If it kills something and survives, you get to take it as a resource. as long as it's not a token. And that card was like, it was good, but a lot of the time the ambush didn't really do anything, and the effect therefore didn't really do anything. So it was just a nice 7/8 that was hard to kill, and it was a good target to OB off of shore, but you pretty much never wanted it instead of Devastator. Whereas with Fulminatrix, I think there are some scenarios where you might want Fulminatrix on 6 resources over Devastator. One of those things that I have sort of started doing even in set 5 now is turn 1 droid in whatever arena I'm playing against aggro, like Sabine maybe. One thing I've started doing against aggro, like say Sabine, is I play a turn 1 droid in whatever arena their turn 1 is, and then instead of ramping, I actually look for the open fire. So I open fire their turn 2 into 5-drop capital ship turn 3, and then OB onto that on turn 4. And I think that is actually the way to go against aggro. And I bring this up because I think when you get to 6 resources, I think you actually want to play Fulminatrix over Devastator if you have it. If they're a ground aggro deck, obviously their space is different, but the when played effect is just a free open fire. I mean, you're playing a 9/7, which is harder for them to get rid of. They can't even ECL, say, MC30 into it, which a lot of people have been doing now, just to kill it. And you get the free open fire every time it attacks as well. If they don't answer this just slowly wipes everything on the ground, and it's really good. Obviously it means that your planetaries won't be able to target everything, but against aggro, 6 resources and then beyond might not be that important. You either win there or you lose there, it's whatever. So for now you can ignore the sideboard-ish, it's pretty much the same. I've added a few more upgrade hate cards in because I have found that Piett's weakest matchups are probably pilot decks and decks that have unique lightsabers and stuff, because the DRK can't hit those. So I've sort of been tinkering around with that. Some of it might go main deck, we'll see. But for now, this is what the main deck looks like. I am tempted to go up to 3 Dornian as well as 3 MC30 just to try and absolutely focus this Gonk Power Droid combo off. But, you know, sometimes you just don't draw the Gonk and you can mulligan for him and you don't draw him at all, it's whatever. Okay, now before we go to gameplay, let's just throw a question out here. What do you guys think should be added to this deck? There are some new cards that I have considered, mainly the plot card that I think it costs 2. Is it trade routes? Something, taxation of trade routes, something like that, where your opponent can't play any events this turn if they have less units than you. I was considering put that in the sideboard against control, but the problem is Piett kind of has to have like not that many units on board. Like it has a few. Like if your turn 1 survives long enough and then you play Invisible Hand out on the turn you flip Piett, then you've got, you know, a good like 4 units, maybe 3 units, whatever. It's not terrible, and against control that should be enough, but there are times where it isn't, and a lot of time on the Piett flip turn you don't want to be plotting this card out, so I think it's just a little awkward, and I'm probably not going to try it. I think Relentless does the job. Sure, it's a lot later, but, you know, it was a card to consider, at least. If there's any other cards that I missed, feel free to let me know. I know there's a lot of new stuff that I haven't been able to go fully over, but... Oh, one question I want to address that I know a lot of people have whenever they see these Piett Red decks: why not Thermal Oscillator? I'm going to be honest, Thermal Oscillator is not worth it. I really don't think it's worth it at all. You're losing 3 health on your base for... consistency, people say, right? They can draw their ramp and their OBs more consistently, but it's like the chances of it mattering are so low that, like, I think the chances of you dying to 3 less HP on the base is more likely than for you to actually feel the difference. I don't know. All I'm saying is people run Data Vault and put 10 extra cards in their deck for 3 extra HP. If I was losing maybe 10 cards in the deck, I'd consider Thermal Oscillator, but I'm not. I'm losing 5, so it doesn't feel worth it at all. And plus, honestly, right now there's so many options for Piett Red that I'm struggling to fit them all in 50 cards on already. So 45 would be even harder. I guess you drop some of the droids, maybe. Oh, and one other thing I want to mention is that set 7 is coming out, and you know what that means. The rotation is coming. And if you look at this deck, there's a lot of stuff in here that will be rotated. Now, to be fair, this deck won't be hit as hard as other decks. We're going to lose Super Laser Tech, which is probably massive. Overwhelming Barrage is going to go. That is obviously huge. Raider, I mean, as long as they print another 6-drop capital ship that has a good effect, I'm not going to lose any sleep over losing Raider. Like, I love it, but I think they can do better than that, or at least equivalent. Maul might be a bad loss, but he's always on the edge of being removed from the deck anyway. Big 10-drop Devastator could be bad because it provides so much utility, you know. It's a Sentinel, which, you know, can stop space aggro late on if you can get to 8 resources without dying. Sometimes you actually do, especially against something like the Boba Data Vaults. That can really happen, and its when played effect is just incredible, right? A lot of times you blow up their only ground unit and then their entire space is clogged up by this 10-10 Sentinel they can't get through. I've won a lot of games that way. Open Fire and Resupply, I wouldn't be surprised if these cards get reprinted at some point. Like in set 7, maybe they'll reprint Resupply. Maybe there'll be an Open Fire equivalent. I don't know. Anyway, onto the gameplay. Let's try and get the Gonk Droid to hit the combo for us. And let's see if I can show the full Miniatrix as well. That'd be really cool.
Hello there.
Alright, our first game is against Dryden Green. Now this is a cool one. I've played against a Dryden Blue before. That seems to be going around. Seems to be the most popular leader from this set so far. This is a really good start, but I want to see if I can get something new. Come on. Okay, might have screwed up a little bit here. Yeah, we're gonna have to hope that we draw something good here. They are in Data Vault as well, so the extra health is gonna be a real pain. Okay, I mean, we do have a turn 2 into turn 3, but it's really bad. Let's see what he's got. Okay, that's interesting. I've seen this played a lot by the Dryden players, and it does seem quite strong. This guy's a bit too late. I don't think it's worth... I think I have to get rid of him. I think when it's late on like this, you probably don't care about that. I'm worried that he might have Merciless, so I'm actually not going to take this trade. That's not something I would have expected to see, but I get it. You know, it's a 4 attack with ambush with the Dryden ability, so that's sort of the game plan he's going for. Now we're going to see potentially an overwhelming barrage here. You put on the battle droid is quite interesting. I can just... Now I think I'll trade with this guy. And I'll play out the invisible hand, and we'll get one of these for 2 damage. I'll deploy Piett. Do another 2. Ooh, that is not good. These are really awful. On the bright side, if they kill Piett, it doesn't really matter this turn, so... But I have a feeling they'd rather maybe even Obi again. Let's see if they got it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They're thinking. Command. 2 XP and ramp. I'm guessing this is a 7-drop leader, isn't it yet? So they returned something to hand. Use command to move command to your resources. I didn't know you could do that. That's a new one. Let's go 6 to base, and we'll get the Dark Trooper out. I was hoping to see the Gonk Droid. I think late game the Gonk Droid is only good if you get it off invisible hand. Otherwise, it's not great. Are we gonna do 2 there? Let's see if he attacks Piett or anything. No, I'll claim here. Oftentimes with Piett, claiming is better than attacking for 2. You know, you don't need me to tell you that, really, do you? I think I will happily trade into this though, because at the moment we are losing the race and he has more health on base, so it's possible I should have attacked with Invisible Hand first. Let's see what he's got. Alright. A 6-5. Sure. Let's go in for 2. Now we're looking pretty good. In fact, we have won the game here because I go 4-2 and he doesn't have enough damage to take all this. So, yeah, that was a weird game. I'm not really sure what the game plan with the double green version is, but it's kind of a cool idea. I always like to see double green, even if it is one of the weaker double colours. But on to the next game.
Hello there.
Hera Lake Country. I've learned not to dismiss this deck because it's actually done quite well quite a few times. Now this is too awkward, we need something better than this. I mean, it's not the worst, right? No turn 1 into Resupply Raider is like fine. Set and playable. This is in fact worse somehow. Yeah, we can get rid of these. I'll claim. Let's see if we can draw something good next turn. Spark of Rebellion. Probably going to drop. Actually, I'd be surprised that MC30 is what he takes here. Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't sure if he would take the OB or the Invisible Hand there. Planetary is also pretty good yet. Unfortunately, we're just going to claim. I really wanted to show off the new stuff here, but all I'm getting is like the worst hands of all time. So he's sparking me again though, so actually we are doing completely fine. And he got rid of the OB. That's very surprising. Let's go to this Vanguard. Now I'm not sure why he hasn't got rid of my MC30 so far. He must have an answer to it when I play it here or something. Because realistically, if he got rid of my MC30 last turn, then this was another turn where I probably wasn't going to do anything unless I draw another one, which like I'm unlikely to do, so... Are we going to see a third Spark Rebellion? We actually are. Okay, so I'm assuming Invisible Hand goes here. But as you can see, we're going to be ahead here by quite a lot. It doesn't really matter what he takes. Obviously, if he took the resupply, that's like the worst option he could take. Devastator taken. Surprising. I've got more of a chance to just draw that again than I do with Invisible Hand, but... And look at that, we even have the Maul for after. We're actually looking pretty good here, and they can't discard any more of our cards with Spark. In fact, are there any cards that you can discard with now at this point? I don't think there are. I mean, maybe their hand was just worse as well, you know. We're too busy focusing on... Well, I'm too busy focusing on my hand here. Potential that their hand is even worse than ours. And look, there goes all our good stuff. See you later. At least all the resupplies have gone to the bottom. I don't want to see them late game now. Sabine. We don't have a Devastator or anything, so I'm rather claims I can get an extra attack in. And I doubt they were going to play anything. Okay, so we now have 2 options this turn. Either 2 of these or a Fulminatrix, and I think I do go with the Fulminatrix. So let's go with that 6 to base first, and we'll even get an extra 2 damage. I really don't think he's got anything to stop me. It's going pretty poorly for him. So it's definitely possible that while I had an awful hand, he might have had an even worse hand. I mean, that's not terrible. It's actually pushed it out of Fulminatrix range, which is pretty cool. I doubt that's what was being thought of, but the value is going to be pretty good. I mean, I'm going to be able to just blow up the Sabine when he buffs it with Inspire Mentor, but Let's deploy Piett. And we'll play the big pizza slice. And we'll blow up Sabine Wren. The red one. The one that we can actually blow up. And that is kind of surprising. I guess he's going to try and immediately kill. In that case then, let's just blow up this Sabine still. I was going to say I'd attack this, but I always forget about the effect there. Sort of hidden before hidden was even a thing. We're going to go in for the 2 here because I think he's definitely going to go in. He's still got 4 resources and he really wants to trade with the Piett, so I'm happy to get the extra 2 in rather than claiming there. And I think he's just done for here. There's too many units. I'm going to do 9 to base. Probably kill this unit that has restore now. And what else is going to happen? I'll have 2 threats that can finish the game right there, and 1 that can put him low enough that the maul through anything could get him. So yep, we'll blow up the restore target. It's tempting to keep that for the maul, but there's only 1 more health here and there's no restore this time, so I don't think any card exists that can save there. Like, you could U-wing into like a Bright Hope. Yep, and even that would just delay me. Okay, we got a game against Mon Mothma Droid Manufactory, which is a fun deck that I've seen a lot of people running, and we've even had it on the channel ourselves. This is actually a pretty good hand here because we have these 2, and I think normally I would take this. You know what? We'll keep this. I was going to be greedy and try and fish for the Gonk Droid, but it's worth keeping this just to sort of play the game out normally. I'm sure I'll get a game with the Gonk Droid later. So, it's a really good turn 1. Basically just playing Battlefield Marine. They're readying a resource. Will they do anything? Okay. That's not bad. I haven't seen that card before. Resource this MC30 now. We will go 3 to base. They'll get Sentinel, it doesn't matter. And we'll ramp. Really no play. That must really suck for them. Alright, that's all the Dark Troopers gone. It's kind of interesting version. I don't remember seeing this card in a lot of the decks that were trying out the Mon Mothma shenanigans. Alright, let's play Invisible Handout. Realistically, we would do 2 to base here. Yeah, why not? They're on Droid Manufactory, so we'll deploy Piett. They actually claimed. We'll just pass. I don't want to do the damage here. And I'll probably get rid of Open Fire now that we've got a Craven Power. We'll keep the DRK in case they start pumping some lightsabers out. That's pretty cool. They don't have any way of killing Piett though, so I'll keep it up. Try and be greedy here before we play out the Devastator. No, I think I'll throw this Devastator out. We'll just do 4 to base. At this point, we're full aggro. And they have to claim, otherwise they're dead. We'll hit them all for 2. And now we've got too many choices. I mean, yeah. We've even got the maul here. They have to wipe everything here, which they can't do. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, if I had 10 players of salvo, this would be crazy, but I unfortunately don't have it. It's 6 to base. We'll do another 2. And yeah, we can do another 2 here, and then just maul straight through any of the Sentinels. It doesn't really matter. In fact, we only need to do 3, so we can just maul straight through a Sentinel already.
Hello there.
Okay, we got Sabine ECL. Okay, we got Sabine ECL. It'd be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know what new cards they got in this set. We're gonna mulligan that. Ooh, this kind of sucks here. We'll keep a Fulminatrix. We need to keep this. We might as well get rid of the resupply here. Let's play this out. It's nice that we have an initiative though. No turn 1. That's kind of sad for him. ECL Sabine's masterpiece. It's definitely interesting. It's a super laser tech. Let's see. What are we gonna do this turn? Do we flip Piett, play Dornier for free, and then play one of these 2-drops? I think we'll. Chewbacca. Okay, let's play this out. We're just going to pass it. If they claim it's not the end of the world. Okay, there we go. Deploy Piett. Let's get the Dornian, do 1 indirect. And next turn we can either OB or Fulminatrix depending on what we need to do. Let's do that 2 to base. Ooh, that is really nice here. So I think I'll resource the open fire because I'm just going to Fulminatrix if I need to. Let's see what he does here. Just 6 to base, that's fair. He's already used ECL, which means I'm not scared of Poe right now. So let's just play out the Fulminatrix. Alright, so resource this Devastator. I can do 8 to base it. Probably will. He's only got 6 resources, so what am I scared of here? 4 cores is fine. Has he got another 4 cores? We can easily win here. If he doesn't, we can do this. Second 4 cores. He needs a second 4 cores, and he doesn't have it. It was close though. Very close. Oh, he's gone. Yeah, you can see the power though of that deck. And it would have been even better if we could have got the Gonk Droid in turn 1. Got an MC30 out or something that has a big overwhelming barrage target. Really could ruin them. It's worth noting that, like, obviously this deck is pretty well refined and I've played a lot of it, whereas I'm playing against a lot of decks where people are just trying out fun stuff for the first time, so there's a good chance that, you know, they don't really stand too much of a chance against it. It's got nothing against the players or anything, it's just that their decks are running a lot of new cards, a lot of new things. No one's really fully refined a deck to point of perfection yet. Whereas this deck is like, I've been running for so long. And not much has changed since the last set where it's already been doing pretty well, so. I guess we're going to hit Babu. I love droids, but he's getting better droids than me. That R2's going to keep hitting for 4, and there goes an invisible hand. That's sad. I mean, we already got one, so I don't really mind that much. This is pretty cool. They're absolutely flooding here. Definitely going to get rid of Babu here, though. And then next turn, the Devastator is probably going to go pretty big. We'll be able to kill Greedo and maybe a spy that they make with Bale. Or maybe I just play Fulminatrix and kill Bale himself. I think it's definitely better to go Devastator. Sets us up better. And it kills more. It prevents more damage on the base. Alright, let's kill off the Babu, frick. Chancellor Palpatine. That's pretty cool. The spies are going to come in ready now. It's a good idea. I actually think I want this guy here so he can trade with some enemy units for a bit. I was tempted by the Gonk Droid, but there's not much point. If I had like the 10 cost Devastator around, then I'd consider it, but they've discarded their last card here. Let's set up... I was going to smack something so I can set up a better target, but I think I happily just claim here. Because chances are I killed a spy, then he just claims. Or a hit base. Maybe I should have hit base, and then he probably still would have attacked with these two. Alright, we got a better thing to do than play Devastator here. We have OB. That one's definitely going. You can do 6 here, but 1 is awkward. We might as well do 1 on Bale, and then I can throw the Dark Troop into Bale to finish him off. Spy, I'm going to kill with anyone here. The R2 are probably just going to leave it alive. It should be difficult for him to come back now, because look, he's got no cards in hand now, so... So let's kill that spy. Let's kill off the Bale. Let's kill that spy. And now we're going to start... Oh, no droid. That actually hurts quite a bit. Get rid of that resupply. This is actually an awkward hand here. I'm going to play Fulminatrix. We're going to do a Forza Sabe. Although we probably will just discard the Fulminatrix here. And we don't draw into anything. This is like the one awkward thing about this deck. Sometimes you do not draw what you need. Alright, that's 2 to base. Playing a Bodhi, that doesn't do anything. Let's see. I think I just go into base with everything. I'm even tempted to play out another invisible hand to try and fish for... He's playing R2, is interesting. I think that was a mistake, I'm going to claim. So unless he draws a surprise strike here, oh, even better. Now anything is lethal. Does he draw a surprise strike? Even that wouldn't matter, actually. There's nothing he can do. Yep, definitely a mistake there to play that R2 out. I don't know why. I guess you wanted the card draw, I suppose. Alright, we've got a Darth Revan Blue here. This deck actually might be pretty good against us now because they have a lot of cards that they just can put more lightsabers on. They got more Sith units that they can use the rule of 2 on, whatever it's called. Is it only 2, something like that? Oh, hey, look at that. It's a droid turn 1, but I don't have anything to play off of it. We're going to give it a go, though, because maybe I can play Fulminatrix on the 5 resource turn if I Gonk Droid, resupply, and the Gonk survives long enough. It's a big if. I was tempted to keep this as well, but knowing this deck, it's not going to work. Maybe we just draw into the better card, let's see. Oh, I'm getting taunted here. Look at that. It's going to really suck if they kill the Gonk Droid, but they probably will. I mean, if they waste the power of the dark side on him, that's really good for us. Because that card is like the bane of our existence. Okay. Resupply. And I'll claim, here we go. Okay. We kind of got it in the bag here a little bit. Because now we get to go Gonk to base. Oh, it's risky actually though. I should have kept that other guy. Yeah, I think I fucked this. I'll deploy Piett, but he's got power of the dark side presumably. He's thinking though. He doesn't have it, so that's great for us. And that right there, I mean, that's what the deck is supposed to do, and it's done it. Now we can happily go on to, if Piett lives, play out these Devastators. Now it's going to really suck if they just power Darkside here, because it means we have to lose Fulminatrix. Or maybe I just lose Piett. Okay. It's going really well for us here. Now power the Darkside. I think now I'm happy with losing Fulminatrix, just so I can do this. Now if he just flips Revan, I just claim here. And I do 9 to base. Looks like he's gonna... Yep. I'll claim. Now he does get to buff Revan without taking any damage to himself, which is pretty strong. But even if he plays like Power of the Darkside here next turn, I'm okay with that because I can just play it under the Devastator. What is the chances that he's going to have all 3? Pretty low. And if we're more worried about getting rid of Revan instead of playing another Dev, I can just play out the Maul. I'm actually going to resource this because I want to keep the DRK in case we start seeing constructed lightsabers, which is very likely. Okay, in goes the Revan. In that case, then I will play out the Maul. And yeah, GG, I suppose. Alright, I've been going into games over and over again and conceding because I just wanted to show you the turn 2 MC30 and all that, but I can never seem to get it off because I either just don't draw the Gonk Droid or oh, hey, look at that. Look at that. Let's get rid of these 2 then, shall we? And we can see if we can get away with it here. We have initiative as well. This is the best chance we had. It is against yellow-blue villainy though, which is like the best colour combo to stop it, because they get Waylay, they get Power of the Darkside, they get everything here. And of course they get shielded units like this, they can just immediately kill the Gonk Droid, but we'll see how it goes. Hey, and look at that, we got another one, so even if they deal with one next turn, they're going to have to deal with the other one. So presumably they are going to take this out with the Krennic. Or maybe they're just going to go full aggro. No. Okay. We'll play out this Dornian. We'll do the 1 indirect. Power of the Darkside. Let's see it. If they do, they only have a 2-2 on board, so still alright for us. Waylay, even better for us. That is kind of scary. Realistically, you should probably play this as your turn 2 if you have the option between these 2. The only reason is it's a lot harder for them to deal with it early on. They're on 4 resources though, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. They'll have to take down or fell the dragon to get rid of this if you had. But in the case of having initiative, you know, I lost 2 damage out basically here that I could have had. It might not come up, but in an aggro matchup like this, I think the 2 damage might actually come into effect. Claim. They had nothing that turn. That is really good for us. I'm going to be risky to do that. This is a good answer to Gar Saxon, and this is good at getting rid of a lot of their things. Okay. So I can still OB. It's not really worth it. I'm going to play this out and kill the Krennic just in case the minus effect does matter to them. I'm just going to claim, I guess. Double Maul, kind of funny. Let's go 6 to base. Another surprise strike, maybe a hot shot blaster or something. That's really going to screw us over, especially when they deploy Gar. I do have OB for when the Gar comes out. Armor of Fortune, right. Here's Piett. Let's see if they take him out. Waylay. Okay, well, there's no point attacking into the shield to get rid of it now. This is very strange. Okay, we'll play this back out. And, yeah, go on. Defeat that. And I'll pass. Get rid of the Gonk Droid here. We're going to play a Maul this turn or an OB. I don't know how they deal with all this. Evacuate. In our moment of triumph. That's probably their only play, is evacuate if they have it. They can't see Blaze Blast yet. They really should have deployed Gar Saxton last turn and put more pressure on. Okay. We'll do the 6 to base. So there it was. That's what we wanted. That's what I'm talking about right there. That extra star, that extra power that you get. If you can pull it off, it's a little awkward because just because of the droid itself, you can only have 3 Gonk droids in your deck, you know, so unless you're a cheater. But you can only have 3 copies, so that is the weak link of this combo. There is no way to guarantee that you have it in your hand on turn 1. You can put as many 5-drop capital ships in the deck as you want to try and make the combo easier, but I don't know, I guess you can try and mulligan for the Gonk Droid, but as you saw, I tried that in the first few games. I deliberately tried to run over, or deliberately tried to mulligan for a hand where you could see the new stuff, and it was actually just screwing me over. So if you were trying to mulligan for the Gonk Droid, it can potentially ruin you. But the good thing about it is, like, the deck is still amazing, even if you don't manage to get that combo off, because you just basically play it as you have been playing it for the previous sets, where you just play a droid and then ramp. If you don't ramp, you open fire, and then you play a 5-drop. It's still strong. And I even got to show as well the power of the droid trooper, the dark trooper. He's a 3/3, and the 3 attack and 3 health actually came in handy against the Sabe and a few other moments, I think. And that extra 1 damage each time was pretty good. I'm still going to have to tinker with this deck and figure out sort of the numbers on the droids, because I've currently got 2 of each, apart from the Vanguard, which is 3 of. Potential maybe that one becomes a 2 of. I don't know. It's been such a workhorse over the past few sets. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this deck, what you might change. Is there anything I'm massively missing that was in this set? Let me know, and catch you guys in the next one.